This is a PI Advice Podcast.
Episode number 20. What's going on? This is episode number 20 of the Private Investigator Advice Podcast with your host, Andrew. And I am back on the microphone. Thank goodness. I have been busy out of my mind. I don't even like thinking about work right now. Just hurts my brain. But I hope you guys are having a good time. Washington is getting some sunny days. Man, it has been nice, and unfortunately, I'm a bit under the weather, so I haven't even felt like being outside. It's like Crazyville. It's like, oh yeah, nice weather's coming. Oh, you're gonna get sick, and that's what's been happening. So trying to work and working under the weather, and then the family and I are like thinking, okay, summer's here, so now we're trying to plan all our vacations for the next 9 months, whatever that's going to be, because we're all excited because it's sunny. But yeah, lots happened, man. Welcome. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the podcast, this is the Private Investigator Advice Podcast. I give you guys advice. It's for the new investigators, the ones that want to be investigators, or maybe the ones that want to start their own business. I'm going to talk about that kind of stuff. To help you get there one way or the other. It could be the business thing. It could be the becoming a private investigator thing, or maybe I talk you out of it. To be honest with you, I'd rather talk you out of it than have you go through some of the trials that I've had to go through and many others. But if you can deal with those trials, then you're going to love this job. So, I think quite a bit's happened since I last spoke. There was that bombing at the marathon. I was working a case, and I just turned on the radio because I was all out of podcasts and I was all out of audio books, and right at the I turned it on, and I just catch the announcer guy, the DJ, saying, "Hey, pray for those people out there in Boston," and I'm like, what did I miss? And then like a second later, I get a little ding on my phone from Stitcher, because anytime anything huge happens, Stitcher alerts you, which is pretty cool. Anything worth listening, I wanted to know what happened with the bombing, and sure enough, they were reporting on it. And I'm glad they caught that knucklehead and his brother. It just it blows me away where this where the country, it's not headed. I shouldn't say it's headed, because I don't think the country is necessarily headed, into some horrible state. But it feels like the knuckleheads are getting braver and braver. They're just doing bigger, stupider things, like trying to outdo each other. Like, oh yeah, you're going to shoot people. Oh yeah, we're going to blow some things up. I don't know. That's kind of like the way I see it. Like everybody's, I don't know. I guess it comes back to the way we say things over at the American Dad podcast, and that is, if you got a child, hug them, tell them you love them. Give them a big hug. Maybe that'll help out. Maybe that'll help out with all the kids that are growing up that feel the need to do something so just heinous and so horrible to others, for no reason. But that's my little platform thing. What else has happened here? I started an Amazon PI store. It's basically a little store that I put together. Of course, I'm not actually selling a physical product. I'm really just an affiliate. But what it does is it kind of gives, the new investigator that has no idea what to buy, kind of puts them in the right ballpark. I'm going to eventually have a little category on there, a little menu option, just saying just what I use personally. So if you're just trying to, just get what somebody already else has, I'm going to put the things that I have on there, or if they're not exactly on there from Amazon, the closest thing that relates to what I have, price point or quality wise or whatever. And so yeah, it's going to have list of video cameras and digital cameras, miscellaneous investigative things that I use. And if you want to shop from it, great. It's just going to help support the store, help support the blog. Um, and yeah, it'd be appreciated. And if you think of other things that you think that I need to put on that store, let me know if it's going to help the guy who doesn't have any idea of what to purchase for the business, or for to be to have maybe it's binoculars. What's the right type or whatever? Let me know and I'll add that. In fact, I actually have to add, as I'm saying this, I still have to add a binocular page to it. But yeah, I think it'll be cool. I think people will like it. Yeah, let me know what you think. What else has been going on? I got an email from a listener, and if you first asked me like, hey, here's my situation. I want to be a private investigator. There's no doubt in my mind. I don't need to think about it. I guess he'd heard all my podcasts and he still wanted to be one after that, so that was good. And he says, but here's the thing. I've got. I think he said he had a bachelor's degree, and he was actually I don't know, he's in the insurance industry or whatever. And he says, I want to be a private investigator, but I just don't have enough experience for this particular state. The state I live in is just too hard to become a private investigator, and to find a job in the state, like working for another company, is hard too. I mean, I can imagine there's other people all trying to do the same thing as him. He says, so my idea is to start a business in another state. And what he's going to do is he's going to go into a neighboring state. He's going to get his business license, and there he's going to get his PI license, his PI business license, whatever, and start his company in the other state. And if he gets any business, which can only be in that state, he's just going to go drive over there and do it. Brilliant. I mean, the guy's using his noggin. And he has more questions for me. I still actually have to get back to him on some other things, but he's being smart about it. He says, I'm not going to quit my day job. I'm going to keep my day job, and I'm going to start this business off slow. And and he actually said on the weekends he'd work it on the weekends. So I'm sure if he had any cases or anything, he's just going to knock them out then. And it's a great idea for this guy. He this way he can get his feet wet and he can build his infrastructure, and he can figure everything out ahead of time. And then when he decides to go full board, he's a running start, and I'm more power to him. And so now it's just about doing it. That's what he plans on doing. I think it's brilliant. And if I think it's just aside from going to another state and starting his business in another state, he had already called over there and talked to the people I needed to talk to make sure it was okay that he lived in one state. And I don't know. Take something from this conversation or this email conversation I had with this guy. Start small, start little. It's safe. It's safe to, keep your day job for a little bit, build your infrastructure, get your website up to the rankings, so you're getting noticed, and learn the job if you don't already know it, and just kind of build that base to, because even like I say, I always say this, even though I've been doing this for almost 10 years, there's so much stuff I still don't know, and it's just so hard to know everything. And that's why there's people that specialize in different things, because for whatever reason they were in that niche and they stuck with it and they become very good at it. And when there's something that they get work like out of their niche, they'll just refer it to somebody who's very good at what they do regarding that. And I'm kind of the same way. So, in fact, I got a phone call the other day, it was a day or two ago. And this isn't an uncommon conversation. It's, hey, I want to find somebody, and I'm really careful about that. And this is a conversation we'll probably have on the next podcast. But I go, once I find somebody, I go, what do you want to find them for? And then a long story develops. Like, I didn't ask for the story. I probably didn't need to know any of it. Well, actually, probably did, but probably didn't care to hear it, because it's this long drawn out story of fighting and slapping and drugs and all this stuff. And then in my brain, I'm just thinking, there's no way, just based off of this little conversation we're having, I want to find anybody. I don't want to put myself in that situation. You also, when I say this, it's kind of like, you kind of have to trust your client, right? And most conversations that I have, it's just maybe I'm just the lucky one, but I don't trust the reasoning for the reason they want to find somebody. And then when I kind of start, I'm like, so I go, ma'am, so what's the reason you want to find this person? I want to find them because I want to do, XYZ. And it had nothing to do with the whole 5-minute spiel that she gave me. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'm not the right guy for this job for you. And then all of a sudden, she mumbled something, and she wasn't very happy with what I had to say. And, it kind of turned out to one of these, if I can cue it right. Uncomfortable conversations. Yeah, she hung up on me, and I didn't get to say goodbye. I actually probably would have referred her to somebody, but yeah, it didn't matter. Usually, I don't know. Long story short, I didn't take that job. So also, if you follow me on the Facebook page, you probably already saw this video, but I don't even know how I stumbled upon it, but it was hilarious. So apparently, I don't have cable. I'm out of the loop on that. I basically live off of Netflix, podcasts, and Amazon Prime. Which is basically Netflix. It's the same thing as far as I can tell. I'm probably gonna have to choose at one point which one I'm gonna stick with. But yeah, so. So I missed out on all the television shows like Comedy Central and I don't know all the major ones apparently. And I don't know, somehow I was watching one video that I thought was funny, and I came across this other video, and it was about this guy. He goes in there, and I'll tell you what, I'll just play it. And again, this is going to go to Comedy Central's video. This is their video, not mine. I did not create this, and I'm just using the audio, and I'm only using a portion of it. I don't even know the rules on this. I'm just hoping I don't get in trouble, but you got to hear it, and then go and go to my Facebook page, watch the rest of it. There's 2 parts, but let's just play it. Let's just play it. Okay, let's just do that. If I can find it now, here we go.
Brian Wolf claims to be the best private investigator in the Los Angeles area.
You know what I mean? You keep people happy, they're gonna come back.
I'd love to take him at his word, but when I looked him up on Yelp, he had 0 reviews, and that's not good. So I paid him a visit with a plan to change that. When did you first know that you like to snoop?
Snoop. No, it's not really snooping. I mean, it's not. You know what I mean? It's observing.
Snooping.
We call it observing.
Well, here's the thing. I looked you up on Yelp, and you have 0 reviews.
0 reviews. What do you name? Yelp.
Yelp's a website where people
You look me up on Google. You just look up Wolf Investigations.
What about Yelp?
Okay, you keep on going on about Yelp. Why do I care about Yelp? Seriously, now let's think about this for 1 second, okay? Been in business for 24 years. Why do I care if Yelp has a review about me? Do you think I really care about Yelp? I don't give a about Yelp.
The plan? Give Wolf's Investigations their first 5-star Yelp review.
You're kidding me.
Are you done having your tantrum?
I'm sitting down. I'm relaxed.
I'll just leave it at that. So the private investigator, he is an actual private investigator, in the I guess in the Los Angeles area, and gosh, I hope this isn't too loud all of a sudden. Anyway, so he's a private investigator in the Los Angeles area, and he takes on this assignment. The guy who's hiring him is hiring him to follow himself. So it's like going to you and saying, you need to follow me. And then if you follow me, I'll give you a 5-star review on Yelp. And that's basically the mission. Well, the show's so hilarious. I almost don't want to ruin it for you, but it's just something you have to see. Not only for how this guy actually messes up, in any normal circumstance, he probably would have got it right, but they tricked him, and just go watch it. But aside from how it's hilarious and all that kind of good stuff, I was blown away by this guy. A big show comes to him and puts him on TV, and this guy's he's swearing. He's not presenting himself. I mean, if you swear at your house and you swear in your home, I don't give a crap about that, right? I don't care what you do behind the closed doors. But if you're representing your business and you're on television, is that the way you? I mean, I guess you have to see his demeanor, but he just looked like a cocky son of a gun. And that's not to say that there's not a lot of private investigators just like that, but be that way and behind closed doors, because I couldn't imagine hiring somebody with his attitude. Like, I don't even care how good he is. Just his personality and attitude would have been a turnoff to me. I wouldn't hire that guy. No way. Just no way. That was just my perspective on it. If you go ahead and look that guy up, Wolf Investigations, he's got a website. Yeah, I mean, he basically probably does a lot of the stuff that I do. It looks like he just does a lot of surveillance and statements and a lot of the basic stuff. But man, you would have thought his poop didn't stink. That's just how he was. And then another thing, if this station made such a point to say how important Yelp was, right? Or Comedy Central, they're like, hey, doesn't have a Yelp review. Actually, I don't think I have a Yelp review either. But the reviews mean a lot. I mean, a lot of people do their due diligence, and a lot of people don't. But the ones that do, could you imagine losing business because you screwed up on one case, or maybe your customer had a bad experience with you, and they could have been like, yeah, he found the person for me, but he's a jerk face and he overcharged me and yada yada, and then now you got this bad review. I mean, restaurants do it all the time, and they don't want that. I mean, I know it's apples and oranges, restaurants and private investigation companies, but social media is going to matter more and more as time goes on. I mean, here's an example. We talked about the Boston bombing. Do you see how fast people are finding out about this guy? I think that there was actually people around the world finding out about these bombers faster than probably federal agencies. They're probably coming to more conclusions than they were, because the access we have, and speaking of technology, like everybody, it was just gonna be a matter of time before we found that guy. And just think about in the future, and I could see this happening, fugitives on the loose. People could do this now, probably. They just take have a picture of the fugitive on their phone, and everybody just has a picture of the fugitive, and it just won't take very long to find that guy, because everybody's gonna have a picture of that guy right there on their hands. It's not gonna be on a poster. It's not gonna be on television. They're trying to remember what he looked like. No, they're gonna have the picture right in their hands. And this is something I do already. If I'm trying to remember what my subject looked like, and I'm going into a store and I didn't get a great look at him, maybe I had a picture of him from Facebook or whatever it was, I had a picture of him. I can walk around with my phone and I've got that picture of the guy, and it's just it's just so easy to have, or if I'm, trying to remember something, I take a picture of it real quick and I can refer to it with my phone. Technology is amazing, especially for the private investigator. So take advantage of it, and hopefully, if you don't have any Yelp reviews, get one. Maybe we've all focused on Facebook and stuff like that, but if you have some clients that have maybe commented like, hey, thanks for doing a great job, and they did that on Facebook, maybe they wouldn't mind doing a Yelp review for you too. Wouldn't hurt. Just one. And so what else we got here? We did the Wolf investigation guy. Let's go on to this episode is going to be about a blog I just put out. And I know that, I probably get about, I don't know, it's a little over 4,000 readers a month now. And I know that I don't have 4,000 listeners a month. So there's an unbalance there. There's people reading, there's people listening. And so I'm going to share this post on here and just kind of give you an idea of, for the guy who's thinking about starting his business, what he might expect. Maybe he has to do, or maybe the guy's just like, I'm just thinking about starting my own private business. I have no background in this. So, what's it probably going to cost me? What's the approximate cost? And I'm just going to tell you what I paid, at least to the best of my recollection. And I have seen people search this, and they landed on my site somehow. I probably didn't have the best answer for them, so I figured, writing the post that I did was going to help them, and this podcast will help them as well. And I've talked to people on the chat room as well on the Private Investigator Advice podcast. And they're like, I started off and I thought I knew how much I was going to pay, and it was a lot more than I expected. Actual cost a lot more than I expected, and so let's give you an idea here. One of the first things I had to get, was a master business license. Now, this doesn't work the same way for every state, but the best of my reasoning is this is the way you get your business started. You have a business license, the master business license for Washington State. I think this is just a way for them to track you down for tax purposes. I think that's really what it's really all about. And so I do know that when I first did my, and I actually didn't put it in that post, but when I did my master business license, I got a thing in the mail from the city, like, hey, we found out you're in the area and you have a business, and basically they were trying to get their hand in the taxes pool too. They wanted to get their money, and so again, that was the city I'm in, and then the state. But the master business license wasn't expensive. It was for me, I think it was $25. At least that's what I wrote in the post. It was a long time ago, but it wasn't a big deal. And then I got my private investigation license, which is the agency license, and I had to prove I had a certain amount of experience. And then I remember paying $550. I looked at it when I was writing this post again, just to kind of refresh my memory. It said $600. I do not recall paying $600. What's $50 though, even if I am wrong? So $550 was the initial agency license, and then every year to renew that, I pay about $350. Again, guys, if you're looking at the big scheme of things, before we even go on, one case at $65 an hour, $75 an hour, whatever you're charging, it doesn't matter. One case pays for this. So this looks like a lot of upfront costs, like, oh gosh, $600. Oh, and then I got to pay for this and this, and yeah, initially it seems like a lot, but once you start rolling and you're getting cases, doesn't mean anything. I mean, it's $600. That's a day of work. That's one day out of the entire year that's gonna pay for this. Okay, moving on. Insurance. I went through a guy in Vancouver because he was referred to me from another private investigator company up here, and I got a $1 million protection in errors and omissions. I'll be honest with you. When I first got it, I just knew I needed to have it. I just know, $1 million of insurance. I needed to have it. So I got it, right? And I didn't really think about it. And then I read on some guy's website who sells insurance, and I'm probably chewing this up, but essentially the $1 million in errors and omission is supposed to protect you from, if something you do causes a loss, I believe it's just a financial loss to your client, and they go after you to recover it, then that $1 million is, in coverage is going to help, cover that. It always, wouldn't hurt to get an LLC to protect you from any other type of liability, if you're, from your personal assets. You don't have to be a sole proprietor. You can do the LLC. And I don't know how much that costs because I'm a sole proprietor. So what I did, I called the guy in Vancouver, this insurance agent, and I'm like, hey, I need insurance. He's like, okay, well, here's the amount. As of right now, I'm paying $763.71 for the year. And I didn't want to pay for that all at once, especially when I was first starting. And so what they do is they let you do a little payment plan on it. And I gave them, I don't remember what was the initial first time, but every year I do the same thing. So this year I gave them $266.49, and I make payments of $58.44 over a 9-month period, and that makes up the balance of the $763.71 for the year. And if you guys want to know, if you guys, I don't know, if you guys are looking for someone to go to, I mean, there's all kinds of people that promote themselves on the private investigator forums and stuff. The guy I went through is through Callahan Insurance Agency. His phone number is 360-576-2924. I didn't get anything. I'm not getting anything for referring him. He's just a nice guy. He calls me every year. Let's renew. It's a pretty simple process. He's really easygoing. And he's out of Vancouver, Washington, I believe. Never met him. Just always talked to him on the phone. So that was that. So $763.71 for insurance every year. Again, a couple days of work and you paid for it. If you don't have a computer and you're going to be a private investigator, I would suggest a laptop because you never know where you're going to be. And when you want to write reports in the car, you can't do that with a desktop. So, definitely want to get a laptop. I bought mine in either 2010 or 2011. It was a Toshiba L645. I don't know. It's a Toshiba Satellite L645. I don't think they make them anymore. But this computer, I think I bought at the time was like $650. It was when I'm sitting there talking to the guys at Best Buy, they're like, "Okay, well, do you do a lot of videos and stuff?" And I was like, "Not really. I'm just kind of like editing small bits of video." Okay, well then you don't need the expensive one. So here's the one you're gonna get. And so they pointed me to this one. Honestly, to this date, it's been great. So let me give you a little specs on what I've kind of been messing with if you guys want to know. 4 gigabytes of memory. That's DDR3. This gets really fancy. I don't really know a whole lot about this, but I do know that I upgraded it recently. And this helps with the performance of the computer. But I started off with a 4 gigabyte. I since then upgraded to 8 because it allows it. I have 500 gigabytes of hard drive space. Flash drive, 14-inch screen. It comes with a little webcam and built-in microphone. Ethernet, Wi-Fi, 5 hours of battery life. If you can get something better than that, I would suggest it. And a memory card reader, USB, something rather, 2 ports of that. Again, I've been happy with it. Definitely would recommend it. Toshiba actually puts out a pretty good product. I was kind of bummed out about the limited USB port, excuse me. But I mean, let's put it this way. I'm doing the podcast this thing right now. I'm not recording video, but I'm doing the audio and, all the other kind of stuff. So I do all my work on it. Plus I do a podcast through it. So, that's that. So, $650 for that. Definitely worth it. Oh, what else we got here? Dazzle. I've talked about this in other podcasts. This is how I pull video from my camera into my computer with the time shot on it. That's the date and time stamp. Now, you'll find that if you try to do this without some kind of extra device, it will not give you the date and time. So I bought the Dazzle back then, a couple of years, 2 or 3 years ago now. I want to say I paid like $55, $60, maybe it's 50. I'm not quite sure. I put 50 in there. It must have. Got to have it if you're doing surveillance. Got to have it because you need that timestamp for documenting, when the actual date that you're doing surveillance on. So get one of those. If you guys need help with it, let me know. I could probably walk you through it. And then I went on to get You Send It. Now, there's other versions of this. I have been using You Send It for a couple of years now, and I love it. I love it. It's wonderful. Basically, it lets you send large files to clients, and when I send large files to clients, it's usually video. Now, if you're doing domestics and stuff like that, this is going to be right up your alley. Not a big deal. You don't need like a chain of custody. There's other companies that do need chain of custodies, and even though they do it through online uploads, they have used, click on a bunch of things like, I did mess with the video and all that kind of stuff. Not, I'll be honest with you, a lot of my clients don't worry about it. And You Send It. That's the way to go with you want to send Laura. So the price, right? I guess that's why I'm doing this podcast. I pay $49.99 for 1 year. Lets me have like 500 uploads or whatever you want to call it, which it's almost impossible to surpass when you're only doing surveillance by yourself. There's not enough days in the week, right? Or days in the year. And so, and it's 2 gigabyte uploads at once, at a time. It's not a big deal. It's great. I use it all the time. So You Send It. They also have like Dropbox, but Dropbox usually, I think, has this. I don't really use Dropbox that much, but it has the same kind of limitations. I think 2 gigabytes at a time, and that's only going to go up. I mean, these companies are going to be able to do larger files down the road, but 2 gigabytes isn't bad. So $49.99. I also got a personal mailbox. It's where I have all my business mail sent to, and also at Christmas time, my packages go there because in the neighborhood that I live in, they will steal crap off your porch. So just send it to your UPS box, and that's what I did. For I can't remember exact price. I think it's about $125 a year. I couldn't find a receipt, but that's what I pay for it. And I actually get an email notification anytime I get packages that come in. Mail, they don't tell me. They have a similar thing for the postal service, and I think I've mentioned this before. I don't know the prices on it, but they have like your normal post office boxes, and then they have the upgraded versions where they will literally let you know when any mail comes. And I've never used it, but on top of not using the actual post office box, they'll give you a street address for that little upgrade. So check that out. If you don't want to go UPS, you want to go post office, that would definitely be a way to go. I've went with this, the post office or the personal mailbox, and I've just stuck with it. There's other options out there, but you're looking at $125, $150 a year for that. Again, totally worth, the pay on it. All right, moving along. What we got here? We got the Sony camera that I purchased. Love it. Best camera that I've had so far in a very long time. I beat this thing up. It flies around my car when I'm driving. And it's still ticking, and it's still taking great video. So they don't make this anymore you could probably still find it on Amazon or eBay or something. And Sony's put out better cameras or more updated cameras since I purchased this camera. So, you don't have to, if you're looking to get what I got, you don't necessarily have to do that. You can find something that's the equivalent price. But I purchased the Sony DCR-SX44 flash memory handycam camcorder over 2 years ago. And I think I purchased it for about $250. Okay. Again, you're probably going to find a better camera nowadays for about the same price, if not less. So $250 for that. I would expect to pay no less than $200 for a decent video camera. What else? So if you don't want to get a Sony, you're gonna end up coming across other cameras at like Best Buy and stuff, like a JVC, and I think there's even a Samsung out there. Don't quote me on that. And then the other one's going to be your, was it Canon? Yeah, it must be Canon. Yeah. So Canon and Sony, I've had great experiences with, over the 10 years, and most of them have been in the tape, the tape era, the mini DV, what is it? This is the micro, yeah, mini DV, and then the 8 millimeter, and I don't know. I don't remember what they're called anymore, but yeah. So I had good experiences with them. So I would definitely go that route. I have recently purchased a lower modeled Panasonic. I have not been happy with it. It's doable, but I'll have to say that for the review down the road. I haven't done a review on it yet. Digital camera, move along. So $250 for the video camera, by the way. So my first real digital camera was about 8 years ago. It was a Kodak, and I paid around $350 for it, and it was like a 3 point. Oh no, was that it? No, I purchased one before that, and it was like $250 or $200. Needless to say, it was like a 3 megapixel, and then I purchased another one that was much nicer, 7.1 megapixels. It was a Kodak, and I paid around $350 for that, maybe more, but I think that's what I recall, $350. It's a slightly larger camera. I later purchased a Canon T3i for around $900, and but here's the thing. I'm giving you two prices here. Even the non-photographer cameras nowadays, they are they're in the 300s. Period. I mean, if I was going to go the route of what kind of camera do I need? I mean, you could probably get anything nowadays and take a decent picture. Cross my fingers when I say that. But I would focus. I mean, if you had the opportunity, if you have the money, get something a little bit nicer. You don't have to go the Canon T3i. You don't have to go the Nikon D whatever's, these $1,000 cameras. It's not necessary. You can get they're like 12 megapixels, 18 megapixel cameras, anyways, for like $350, maybe $400. They're gonna have a powerful zoom. I mean, if you guys have read my post on the zoom, that zoom thing I did with I can't remember what the post is now that I'm talking about it, but essentially it almost has the equivalent zoom of my professional camera versus excuse me, the smaller, more compact zoom that comes out of the camera itself. So. And I think the bigger ones look a little more professional. I don't mean the photographer cameras, but the bigger, bulkier digital cameras. That's just my opinion. So that's that. Tape recorder. If you're taking statements, you in most cases you're gonna want to get their voice on it. And I started off with a little micro cassette back in the day, and I don't know, we probably paid like next to that, like $40 for it. But I don't even think they make them, but I don't recommend them. I would go digital. My wife got me a Sony ICD-PX820 digital voice recorder for around $60, and this is going off memory. This was several years ago now, and I'm pretty sure she got it from Walmart. I looked up the camera, or the recorder on Amazon, and it says it's selling for $90. I don't know if that's right or not, but get yourself a nice digital audio recorder, something where you can put in between you and the person you're interviewing. You probably don't need to spend more than $100 on it, if that. I mean, just as long as you can identify what they're saying on the recorder, that's all that really matters. But you're going to need to have one. Okay. So, covert video equipment, you guys know I've talked about it enough. If you've listened to this podcast or even read anything I've ever written, that the 808 keychain sells for around $10, $12 on eBay. You can get it at the same price on Amazon. You can go to the Pride Investigator Advice store at prideinvestigatorstore.net. And I've got a bunch of spy cams that they're all from Amazon, and they're all about the same price as eBay. And that's what, you're not spending a whole bunch. You're not getting ripped off. So you don't need to go to those professional spy stores to get a decent spy cam for, next to nothing. Again, so you're looking at $20 probably at the most for a spy cam. I would get a couple as backup. These are all made in China. You don't know, there's no quality control that I can think of. So just in case, get a couple. Memory cards, you're going to run all this equipment for your video camera, for your digital camera, for your spy camera. You're going to need memory cards for these things. Now you're looking at anywhere from $15 to $45, depending on how big they are, like how much memory they hold. I would stick, when you're purchasing these 8 gigabytes, 16 gigabytes, stay in that range. 4 gigabytes goes really quick when it comes to video, and when it comes to, pictures. It just goes fast. So, stay around that range. You can get those for good deals if you go to the right. Walmart sells them. Best Buy, Best Buy's probably a little bit more pricier, but you're looking for something that really processes video fast, so it'll make your video quality look awesome. So check that out. External hard drive. I bought one. It was a 500 gigabyte Toshiba hard drive. I bought it for around $80 at Best Buy. I don't take advantage as much as I need to, but it's a great place to put some files, store them over there, keep them off your computer, keep your computer running fast, or even to duplicate those files and put them on there, keep them in a safe place. Maybe you want to, another way, you have family photos you want to save, and you don't know what am I going to do with these? Well, put them on there, forget about it, put it away, put it in your safe, and then someday, pull them back out and take a look at them. That's just another way you could use that external hard drive. It's just so much, that's another thing. You think about it, guys. We take so many pictures nowadays. I can go to Disneyland and I could take like 2,000 pictures. I'm probably never going to look at those pictures, or at least all 2,000 of them. But it's just, I don't know. It's just so easy to take pictures now, right? See, so we just went from surveillance, the external hard drive. We're going to go to vehicle tint. I mean, not to get in too much to it, but you shouldn't spend any more than about $250 on your tint. Bottom line. And I've had about 3 vehicles tinted, 3 or 4 over my career, and I've paid anywhere from $200 to $250. I would not go any higher than that. I don't care what they tell you. And I've had more than 3 windows tinted and less, and 3 windows tinted. And either way, I'm not paying any more than $250. So And then you get what you want, whatever's going to suit you. I'm probably get more detailed on the whole tinting thing down the road, but yeah, just $250. Let's just leave it at that. Business cards, $20. You should be fine. Spending that. I don't care where you go, whether you do them online or you have some business down the road that does them for you. $20. Brochures. And I'm going off memory here, but I think I paid like $15 to design my brochure, which I'll eventually get it up there for you guys to see. And then I spent like $75 to print them out on some nice paper. So keep that in mind. Website. I wish I had more time to talk about this down the road. I'm going to just know that I'm going to talk about websites down the road, guys, for everybody. But as for now, I'm just going to give you the prices of them. And then someday I'll just be able to wrap my mind around a decent way to explain the websites to you guys and how you can make your own. But so for now, here, check it out. Domain, I purchased it for probably like $12 or $15, right? And the domain name is my company name, fortifiedis.com, Fortified Investigative Services. I actually purchased like 3 or 4 of them when I did. So really you just find out what your name is. If your name is, you're going to do Jones Investigation. You guys don't want to do a city name or in your domain or anything like that. You just want to do your name. So jonesinvestigation.com, that's what it would be if you can find it. And so then you buy the domain, right? Well, then you got to host it somewhere, right? So then I hosted mine on Bluehost. I paid like $75 or $80 for the entire year. I paid just that one time, and I put it on Bluehost.com. If you guys are interested in doing that, if you want to build a website, go to Bluehost. There's a link on my website, Private Investigator Advice, HQ.com. It's on the sidebar. Click on that before you do it. I can get an affiliate commission for that, for sending you there. If you want to use it, great. If not, that's cool too. Just want you guys to get a nice website. I purchased my theme. Now the theme is kind of like kind of like the framework for a website. It might be the layout. It might be, maybe something that does fancy. Maybe there's a little, screen that moves around. Who knows? But they all have something different. And there's thousands of themes out there, and I probably didn't choose the best one. But I got mine from Woo Themes. I purchased 3 for $30, and I tried out the first 2. I actually finally went to my third one, and I actually made a video on it a couple of years ago or a year ago now on kind of like the changes from the way it used to be to the way it is now. It's interesting. It doesn't get a lot of views, but if you're want to see like the different templates that I used back then, they're definitely worth a look. So $30, I bought 3. And then the reoccurring yearly cost essentially for my website is roughly around $90 to $100. That's going to be for the renewing of the domain name, and it's also going to be renewing for the hosting that carries on. I own the themes, or at least I have the rights to them, so I don't have to keep buying them every year. So that's basically that. Tripods, I've talked to you guys about that. You can get one at home at whatchamacallit, Walmart, $20, $10, something like that. You can get the nice one that I did a review on, the Sunpack tripod, 6000 PG, $60, $70. It's going to last a little longer. It's got that little trigger handle, easy to move around. I love it. I was using it a lot this week. So, you're going to need a tripod. You're going to need a monopod. Same thing, about $10. Get it at Amazon, get it at Walmart, wherever you want to get it. Doesn't matter. I got the Targus Digital TG. I don't know, really fancy number. Doesn't matter. 67-inch tripod, or excuse me, monopod, $10. Got to have one if you want to have some non-shaky video. DC to AC power converter. You can get these for like $30 to $50. I got my last one at Walmart. It's working just fine for me now. Haven't had any problems with it. It has 2 plugs for AC plugs. Works out well. Stick it in there. Suggestion, make sure you run your car. If you're running your computer, if you're trying to charge your computer, run your car because your battery will die. Printer fax scanner. I got my Canon all-in-one combo here. I don't know the exact model, but I paid around $250, $300 for the whole shindig. I don't use the fax. I use I'll go on to that in a second, but essentially I can scan, I can copy something, turn into a PDF. It's been I think the Canon model that I got is actually really made for like developing pictures. But it's worked out fine for me. Canon, I don't think they've been known. I'm not sure. I'm not a big, printer buff. Like, oh, I know everything about printers. But this one turned out all right. I mean, this one worked out well. I've had this for a couple of years now, and usually printers don't last more than a year for me. Phone. I don't use a phone. So private investigators like have their business lines and things like that. That's great. Since I was starting off, I didn't know how busy I was going to be, how many phone calls I was going to take. Was the phone even going to pay for itself? So basically, I just stuck with my iPhone. I stuck with my phone and my cell phone. So I don't really consider that an extra expense. I already had a phone, and then I use Google Voice to have my business line. And I think that was free when I got it. It might have been, and I changed my number, so it was $10, maybe total. Fax, I use Ring Central. Ring Central for my faxes. It's basically a virtual fax machine. Someone faxes you, they hold it virtually somewhere in the cloud, I guess you could say, and then you could basically get it from wherever you are. You don't have to be at your business phone or your business fax to get it. You can go anywhere. You can go to Kinko's and print it out somewhere from your computer. Definitely something to think of. I paid $96 a year, I think it comes out to be. I don't know if I'm going to keep it next year. I don't know if it's worth, I don't know if it's worth the cost. Even though $96 isn't a lot of money, I've only used it only a handful of times. Nobody is faxing me. I'm very sad about that. So yeah, anyways, moving on to miscellaneous office equipment, pens, paper, notepads. You're going to go through a lot of notepads if you're doing a lot of surveillance. At least you should be if you're taking good notes. So, I don't know. I couldn't imagine you guys going over about $100 in office equipment, maybe staplers and hole punches and whatever's. Printer ink's going to cost you money over time, but $100 for that. And then if you're going to office space, like a physical office space, again, I didn't do that, so I can't really speak to it for like a physical office space, like a storefront, but I can only imagine that a storefront's going to cost you at the very least $600 a month. I would not do that. Most companies don't do that, and the ones that do amaze me. So I don't. I guess. So long story short, I don't have the physical space, so I don't pay anything for that. So neither should you, if you want to keep costs low. All in all, the grand total, if I can find it here. Let's see there. The grand total, when it was all said and done, approximately came out to be, of course, you know what? I don't even write it here. I think I wrote it on the final, the final draft of my blog, and I didn't put it on my rough draft. So now I got to go to my website and figure it out. But my website's so slow that who knows if I'm going to get to it in time without dragging on. Okay, so without further ado, the final total for the startup business came out to be approximately $2,771.70. It's not gonna account for a lot of the marketing that you're gonna need to do and and stuff like that. But if you build some brochures or flyers or however you want to do it, and you go door to door, then it's only gonna cost you the gas of your tank, extra to get there in your time. Definitely something, So let's say $3,000 to start up a company. That's pretty cheap. For all the businesses that are out there, that's not a lot to invest. Now you are going to have to invest in your education in this and your time and if you want to expand your business into other things, you're going to have to seminars and there's always somebody smarter than everybody, right? There's somebody smarter than you. There's always going to be someone smarter than me. Someone's going to be know something more than I do. So it's always worth investing in that kind of stuff, and that will not that I documented it here, but it will cost some money. So what else do we got going on? We're into 50 minutes. Did not expect that. And this is kind of dry, but you know what? It's something you guys need to know, and I get to reach out and talk to you. Yeah. Good times. So with that being said, I'm going to do one more thing here. And I'm going to talk about one little thing that I remember, and I wanted to talk about it. I don't know all the details. I can't remember everything, but we're going to talk about uncomfortable conversations. Yeah, one more uncomfortable conversation. I remember, since, that was so dry, we'll just end it on a good note, right? And if you stuck through the podcast, bless your heart, you're probably at your case already, or you're at your day job or whatever it is. But so I remember, I'm still kind of early in my career. I'm working in California, and I end up being in the Berkeley Hills, and this is one of those rich areas. At the time, probably $1,000,000,000 homes. They weren't like huge mansions, they're $1,000,000 homes, but normal houses that were $1,000,000 homes. That's the best way I could explain it. And I'm sitting there, in my Honda Civic, and I'm chilling. I think at the time I smoked. And so I'm smoking. I'm probably smoke pouring out my window from time to time. No, not pouring, but there was smoke probably coming out my window. So I drew some attention, from a neighbor, and the neighbor approached me. And he said, if I remember correctly, he's like, "Well, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm a private investigator working in the area." And mind you, I'm like 3 or 4 houses away from the person I'm actually supposed to be watching, though I didn't see him. And so he's like, "Well, who were you watching?" And I said, I can't tell you that. He's like, "Well, what are you doing here?" And I said, I can't tell you that either. "Well, you need to tell me." I go, "Dude, I can't tell the cops what I'm doing here. I can just tell them who I am, but I can't tell you." And at this point, the guy was just so, I don't know, maybe nobody ever told him no in his life, and I wasn't being a jerk. I was just like, this is the facts of the matter of the fact here, guy. I just can't tell you. And he just starts shaking. It was just, like he couldn't even control that he was shaking. He was just so, I don't know whether he was nervous or he was just mad at me. I don't know what it was. But he's just like, "This is just ridiculous. I'm going to call the police," or whatever. So at that time, I had to call the cops and probably let them, if I remember correctly, let them know that I was there so they didn't come out and blow my cover. But I will never forget that guy, because that was probably one of the first guys that I ever saw that just started shaking out of control. Like, it wasn't like a disability. It was something he was between us, or he was mad at me or something. But, because he walked away and he was fine. But he was just so mad. And then I went, back then, I was still a younger guy. And I said, "Dad," I'm telling him the story, like, this guy was so mad at me. And he's like, "Yeah, that area's rich, and that they're all in that old money." I go, what's old money?" He's like, "Oh, that money was passed down, and so they didn't earn it," or something like that. I don't know. That's what my dad said. I'm sure that's not true, but maybe there is some truth to that in the Berkeley Hills. I don't know. But anyways, a lot of information that you guys probably don't care about. That was just something I remember about that. I don't know. Very weird. So let's wrap this up. If you guys, nobody's emailed me on books, like, tell me if there's a book I should be reading, because I got more credits coming at the end of this month, and I have one left, so I'm gonna be up to like 3, so I'm gonna need some books to read. Let me know. Go to the Facebook page. What books should I be reading? What books have you guys listened to? And that Audible has that great free trial. Let me see if I can remember the name here. So if you are interested in the Audible Audible books, I'm telling you, man, you could read them so fast. You can go to www.audibletrial.com/PI advice podcast, and that will give you the link to the free download of any book of your choosing. And if you don't like the service thing, you just cancel. You get the book for free. There's really no obligation. I don't think you'll quit. I think you'll get more and more books, and that's what I think will happen. So, without further ado, you guys need to see me on the Facebook page. Make sure you like the page, and let's see here. Podcast intro, and oops, there, that's great. So if you guys are listening to if you guys go to the Facebook page and just keep in touch with us. have questions for. If you got answers that I don't have, then maybe you can answer some of the other questions that people are asking on there. But yeah. Anyways, hey guys, thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe to my videos and read the blog. Otherwise, I'm just going to read it to you on here, and we'll just call this the PI Audible book. All right. So have a great night. Enjoy the summertime. I will try to be back as soon as possible when work slows down a little bit to put out another one of these. And meanwhile, if you have questions, let me know. Maybe I'll write a blog about it. All right, guys. And take care. Be safe. And have a great day.